What's up, guys? Legend here. A multi-million-dollar toy company tried to lock a man in a steel cage for the rest of his life. The catalyst for this high-stakes legal battle was children's plastic building blocks. The dispute involved a YouTuber named Reckless Ben and the owners of a Bricks and Minifigs franchise. Ben had a consignment agreement with the store's previous owner, but the new management refused to honor it, effectively keeping Ben's inventory locked inside their building. Ben launched a series of unorthodox stunts to recover his property. He was persistent and loud, but his attempts remained nonviolent. Instead of fighting this in civil court, the franchisees chose a different path. They began collaborating with local police to manufacture a string of felony charges against Ben, transforming a business disagreement into a criminal prosecution. They eventually pushed for a RICO charge, the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. This is a heavy-duty legal mechanism designed for dismantling mafia families and organized crime syndicates, not settle retail disputes. Moving from a YouTube beef to a RICO investigation carries the potential to seize every asset a person owns and end their career permanently. It is a level of escalation that targets a person's entire future. This case demonstrates how quickly a wealthy entity can use the justice system as a blunt instrument against an individual who becomes an inconvenience. Ben was arrested, but a judge quickly released him on bail. We know exactly how the store owners reacted because newly released police body cam footage captured the immediate fallout. Ammon, one of the owners, began calling the police department to complain. He questioned the officer's competence and the judge's decision, demanding that Ben be put back in a cell immediately because the initial legal outcome didn't go his way. Ammon then told police that Ben was planning to murder his staff. He provided no evidence for this, but he repeated the claim to ensure the officers viewed Ben as a lethal threat. He followed this by claiming Ben was a convicted child predator. He told the officers that Ben had a history of severe abuse, aiming to paint him as a dangerous social pariah. This wasn't a case of mistaken identity, it was a choice. Ammon found an actual criminal in Ohio named Benjamin Schneider and fed those records to police. He presented a man convicted of 110 felony counts to put officers on high alert before any contact with Ben. Ammon is now building a psychological trap, feeding terrifying details to law enforcement to ensure they view Ben as a violent threat. The most disturbing moment in the body cam footage occurs when Ammon asks an officer if it would be a good idea for him to bring a shotgun into his store to deal with Ben. Ammon is seeking preemptive permission from law enforcement to escalate to deadly force. By getting an officer to sign off on him carrying a weapon for self-defense, Ammon is attempting to set the stage for a scenario where he can legally shoot Ben. These lies worked. Shortly after Ammon made his claims, a heavily armed SWAT team was deployed to raid Ben's house and arrest his entire team, simply because they had promoted a GoFundMe page. In a high-tension raid involving tactical gear and rifles, the margin for error is non-existent. A sudden movement or a misunderstood command in that environment often leads to the use of lethal force. Using the police as a proxy for violence is not a prank. It is the deployment of a deadly weapon where a single human error can result in a casualty. Without the unedited body cam footage, the public might have believed the franchisee's narrative. The cameras captured the truth that their verbal reports to the police did not. This footage is the definitive proof of how the franchisees manipulated the legal system to target a private citizen, then now holds the evidence required to sue Bricks and Minifigs for punitive damages that could lead to the company's total bankruptcy. Then offered a deal to drop the lawsuit. He demanded the return of his Legos and a public apology in the form of the owners doing the chicken dance on camera. The owners have refused the dance. They are currently risking the survival of their entire enterprise and their brand because they refuse to swallow their pride. By refusing this absurdly simple out, Ammon and Matt are putting the livelihoods of their other franchise owners at risk to protect their own egos. Holding people accountable for weaponizing the justice system is the only way to prevent them from doing it to someone else. What would you do in Ben's position? Let me know in the comments. Legend out.